Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
What is shaking, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Complete Fitness Podcast. I hope you're having an awesome day. This is episode 124, I believe. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope you are, however you are watching or listening to this, I hope you are enjoying yourself. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you have some good juju going on in your life, in your day today. It's amazing how just the sun shining can make a day better. What's been going on? Check in with yourself. What are we going to talk about today? I guess that's my job. It is Wednesday. That means another episode of the Complete Fitness Podcast is coming at you, which means I need to shamelessly plug our supplements. Core4supplements.com, guys. As always, spend $99 or more and you get some free shipping right to your door, which is pretty sweet. We know we have 1,000,001 options on there. Check it out. We also have our merch. We got new tanks out. We're going to add things as we progress and as we go. Supplements, protein, we can always have protein, guys. Remember the importance of protein in your diet. On top of just fueling your body the way it should be and doing things that are going to be benefiting our muscles by having protein in our diet in every single meal that we eat. It's also naturally protein sources, naturally, not all of them, but when you make a protein versus a carb or a fat, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a less caloric value. So while you're also adding protein to your diet, which is good for muscle growth and muscle sustainability, you're also limiting your calories. So that's when the weight drops off. So it's good for you all around. Please add protein to your diet. If that means adding a protein shake like we have, our whey protein, guys, is awesome. We got 3 delicious flavors. They're honestly, sincerely all good. I like them all. Cinnamon bun, vanilla, cupcake, and then chocolate brownie. They're all delicious. So whatever way, whatever sounds the best for you in those, try it out. Never hurts to try something. And then, of course, like and subscribe, guys. We do have a Facebook page, which might be where you're watching this, where you're seeing the link to our YouTube right from our Facebook page. Please follow that Facebook page, like that Facebook page. You know the deal with this podcast. It's all about an organic growth. We're not going to fund or do anything besides just setting up this fancy backdrop. That's it. That was our budget for making this podcast. Everything else is just from our own little, hard work and trying to figure out how this thing called the internet functions and will benefit us and then ultimately you. I'm talking, guys, about one of the coolest things about fitness and nutrition and just getting healthy and getting the vibe right. To me, and it's kind of one of those deeper, if it's Evan talking, I'm always going to be a little hippy dippy weirdo deep when it comes to things, but I just think I'm a deep thinker. That doesn't mean good or bad or anything. I just think when I think about things, I always try to find kind of a different way, a unique approach, and I don't know why. And again, not that that's saying that that's good or better in any way. I just think it's the way my brain works. I try to problem solve when there's not problems almost, if that makes sense. So one of the coolest things about fitness and nutrition that gets me fired up and gets me pumped up about getting in shape and getting stronger and trying to get faster or whatever my goals are that align, is that it's not something that we can look back on with regret. It's something, or if we do look back on it with regret, we can change it immediately. So a classic example is we all have, unfortunately, a lot of us have really, not a lot of us, I should say, unfortunately, some of us, hopefully not a lot, have big regrets in our life for whatever it may be. But a lot of us, most of us, have regrets in our life that are trivial stuff that doesn't matter, stuff that's not impacting you today. But when you look back at the time, you go, oh man, I should have done should have done that differently. That would have been nice if I didn't do that. Or, the classic thing where you stay up at late, like I see it, a meme shared on the internet all the time. This is what kind of got me spinning with this. But if you you're tired all day, you just want to get to bed, then you get to bed and head hits the pillow and you start thinking about that weird conversation you had when you were 16 and you wonder if that person still remembers it, how embarrassed you are that you said that thing or whatever, or that one time that you were, whatever the embarrassing thing is or the thing that you regret, right? Small, trivial stuff, but we know that we hang on to it somewhere. Again, not these huge impactful things that are changing your life, but it's one of those things that you go, if I could just have that moment back, I would have not said that to that person. I would have, like catching the pop fly to win the game. What if you dropped it and you went, man, if I would have just made that catch, that would have been a better moment. Again, didn't set up the rest of your life, didn't spiral you into failure. It's not like you're the person you are now just because you didn't catch the pop fly. But it's one of those things that you might look back on with a little bit of regret and go, man, if I had just done this. I have one with football. I didn't play a lot in high school football just because I was smaller, weaker, you name it. There were kids on the team way better than me is really what it came down to. But there was this one game when our tight end that I was the second string for came out of the game for whatever reason. And our coach put me in and he said, hey, we're running this play. It's like a sweep to the left or whatever. And so you need to hook the end. And it was one of the things that I could do well. I knew I could take a step outside, get in the way of this guy. That's all I have to do. I just have to be in the way. I don't have to do anything too advanced that little old scrawny Evan couldn't handle, no matter how big the dude across from me was. And so I go and I line up. I'm very confident. I'm going to set this block. They're going to say, hey, Evan was a second string guy, really came in and did his job. That's pretty sweet. And the defensive end that was in front of me was kind of tilting in. And so I thought he was going to step in front of me this way. And so I was just going to block him down this way. But of course he did that on purpose. So I would do that. So I moved down and then he jumped out this way, which is where I needed to protect from. So if I would have just stayed in my head and been like, do what you always do, Evan, big step out, get in his way. But as we're lining up, I start thinking, oh, he's coming down here, so I'm just going to hit him as he steps this way instead of coming out and around like I should. It got in my head, and of course, I mess it up. Step inside, he goes outside. Again, not some big detrimental thing. I don't even think it mattered. I think that our running back at the time, Lucas Yinger, shout out, ran around anyway, and it didn't even matter. Like it wasn't affected, but I came back to the sideline. The coach was like, you missed the block or whatever. And I was like, there goes that. There goes my hopes of taking advantage of this opportunity and maybe getting into a little more football games by doing the one thing I was asked to do in 4 years. And I didn't. And so like that, it's not something that I regret every single day. But if it was a perfect world and I could fix things, I'd go back and do that play over and get a little pat on the back from the coach, and maybe I'd play a little more, and blah, 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 blah. I'd have a little more fun. Whatever. The reason I bring this up is those small trivial things. We all have a million and one of them. Catching that pop fly. Those are gone. Those are in the past. I can't go back and redo that play. You can't go back and catch that pop fly. You can't go back and not talk to this person or date this person or whatever. And you can't go back and stop working out or give up on your nutrition or quit that job or whatever. Like the things are gone. But the best part about fitness and working out is you can restart whenever you want. You have the full ability and capability to catch that pop fly again, to make that block again, to do the things over again. And it's never too late. I had this lady in here and she was not old at all. And she came in and all she was obsessed about is I'm so old, I'm too old, I'm too old. I mean, we have like 25, 30 members that are the same age, if not older than this woman. And she was just obsessed. And so somewhere she's starting to really believe that it's time to give up. And this is what it is. She's like, I'm old. I haven't worked out in 20 years. I'm overweight. My knees hurt. My hips hurt. My back hurt. And it was just this whole narrative that she just full on created in her headspace that people have told her, I'm sure, that she believes, whether it's just spending countless time on the internet, looking at whatever or bad influence or just whatever. And I'm sure she has some regrets of, I should have never let myself get out of shape. I should have never let myself get out of shape. But the thing about fitness and getting in shape is it's not too late. You can go back and right that wrong. And you can start right now. You can turn this video off right now and go walk for 30 minutes. Especially if you live here. The weather is beautiful. Mwah. Or you can rearrange your evening plans to fit time for a little walk, or head into the gym, or change your dinner plan, whatever you have. You can do these things now. And I think that's one of the coolest things about it. And the thing is, every single day you do feel that empowerment. It's kind of that gift that we get that we don't often think about. When you think about how amazing you feel post-workout, post a challenge, post anything, a big presentation at work, a job interview, graduation. Remember, like walking and graduating. Those are huge accomplishments. And those days you felt good. Those days you felt better than you do right now. And so every single day you can get a sense of that accomplishment by physically attacking your body, doing something that challenges you, going, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and then doing it. That's what fuels our life. That's what fuels everything. And that's what gives you that potential. That's what gives you that confidence. And that's what gets you out of your shell more. And that's what ultimately grows your comfort zone. And that's when we get better as individuals, and everyone starts noticing. And on top of it, you're staying healthier longer for you. And of course, as I always say and emphasize, for your loved ones. People deserve you at your best you. They don't deserve cranky you or upset you or down you or low self-esteem you. They deserve you and fully you, and they love you and fully you. And so in a sense, you doing things to not benefit you and propel you to being the best version of you is unfair to your loved ones, which we all know we don't want to do. I hope they're your loved ones. You don't want to bring them down. You don't want to just be a stick in the mud and have someone come and be like, hi, this is my husband. He's really, really a burden on our whole family, but here he is. No one wants that. And I hope you don't want that for yourself. And I hope you don't want that for your spouse. You wouldn't like it if it was on the other foot. So it is your responsibility. I solely believe that it's your responsibility, not only for you to be a happy and healthy person, but for your loved ones, for your children, for your spouse, for your friends, for your siblings, for your parents. We should do anything we can to benefit our happiness because we know life gets hard and there's a lot of challenges that are out of our control that can emotionally affect us. So the things that are in our control, like moving our body, emphasis on nutrition, we really, really need to make time for and prioritize. It's good. It's well worth it. In the grand scheme of life, it's funny. If you think, am I going to work 80 hours a week or am I going to be happy? It's like, okay, well, I mean, if you actually think about that sentence, happiness is more important than any money, just like it's more important than anything that you're doing, right? Happiness is the key. It's a virtue of life that we all deserve. And unfortunately, as we grow and we have more responsibilities and things that we need to do and take care of, a lot of times it gets put on the back burner. And the best way to start getting that back for you and for everyone else is conquering something. And I find the best way to do that and the easiest way and something that we all have access to is fitness, because you can do it right now. You can go challenge yourself right now. Go out in the parking lot and do 100 squats. I mean, it's hard. If you are somebody who has not done that or somebody who has done it, you got to think about it. It's hard. It's something that you're going to have to mentally kind of lock in on and give all your focus for such and such point of time. And when it's done, I'm not saying you're going to be done and all of a sudden you want to lead a parade and be like, I'm Mr. Happy, but you're going to feel better than before, at least a little bit. And that elevated, piles and piles and piles and piles. And that's how I believe we grow fully. So I had a podcast about this months and months and months ago. If you want to go back and check out that one, it really, really hones in more on it. It's called I don't know what it's called. I shouldn't have told you what it was called. It's unlocking your potential, or the word potential is in the title. I'll find it and maybe I'll put it in the comments if I remember to do so. So yeah, those regrets, guys, those mini trivial regrets, don't let that be with fitness and your nutrition. It's never too late. And the old saying goes, a month from now, you're going to wish you started today. Just start something, one thing at a time, for you, for those loved ones, and try to propel and get things going. And I do have to say, it's not about, I mean, this often gets, just being in the fitness world and being a coach and trainer, and especially in the mindset stuff, sometimes this comes off, it should no way come off this way, but I feel like sometimes just to the observer, it might sound a way that is almost shameful, if you are overweight or have bad knees or something. And it could not be less than true. That's obviously not what we're saying. Our emphasis is health. I don't care if you're overweight. Are you healthy? Can you move your body? Is your blood pressure okay? Are you diabetic? Are you pre-diabetic? Do you chain smoke? Are you doing things that are bad for your body? Do you hydrate yourself, or do you just live off of energy drinks and fast food? It's about health. The basic fundamental rules of being a human being that we need to do, that society has kind of gotten us away from just by naturally the way that the world is now. Everything is done sitting down, and we're not supposed to do that. We're meant to move. That's one. There's not an emphasis on protein in our diet, like I talked about earlier. That's number two. We're not limiting our calories with the crazy, crazy high caloric foods that are being processed. And a lot of them are fake, not even real food, but we have just gotten used to eating them because they're quickly processed, because they make money and we keep buying them. But we're not supposed to be eating them. So monitoring those calories, hydration, which nobody drinks enough water, and then getting sunlight, being outside. Another thing that doesn't happen because we have to spend 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day sitting in front of a computer screen. And then when we're not, we're sitting in front of our phone. And then when we're not, we're sitting in front of a TV screen. So those 5 things we've fully gotten rid of. And when we switch and put the emphasis on it, it's a healthier life. I'm not saying you need to do this stuff so that you can be thin and skinny. Hell no, that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about being healthy. And I don't make the rules. I'm hoping to give some insight and a different perspective from, maybe you read this and go, oh, that, or hear this and go, that is kind of true. There are some things, and I've said this 2 podcasts ago. Your dog has rules. The gorilla at the zoo has rules. A giraffe has rules. They don't just feed all of those animals whatever they want and have their habitats be whatever they want. No, you got to walk your dog or it'll get depressed and die. You need to feed the dog the correct nutrition or it will die. You need to have a giraffe eat the same thing, different than from what a bear eats, from what a alligator eats. We all have these rules, and people, we're made of the same stuff. We do have rules, and nobody told us, once we started implementing fast food and all of these processed foods and made foods, that no one told us, like, hey, if you eat this stuff every single day for a long time, it's going to be bad for your health. And we're kind of figuring it out now. We're at the end of this trial period where we're looking back and half the country's obese. Half the country is, the mental health issues are through the roof. We're not doing the best as health for humans. And if you don't think that's what we're fueling our body and what we're doing with our bodies, that's crazy. There are rules to being a human that we need to subscribe to and get back to. And you will be a healthier person. Again, not about losing a ton of weight, not about bench pressing 500 pounds or running a triathlon or being some crazy, professional athlete Olympian. It's just about being healthy. And there are rules we got to subscribe to. And I hope maybe if one person hears this and thinks, oh, you know what, I could just eliminate drinking all that pop and sugar, or I can eliminate chips, Monday through Friday. I can reduce this. It's going to add to a healthier life. And so that's the goal. And so basically that is the podcast. I that little tangent I said 2 podcasts ago. So I do think it's important, and I will probably emphasize it again. If you've listened to this podcast, every single podcast I say, I talked about this on the last podcast. So it's going to happen again. It's going to come out again, but I really am passionate about it. It's what I do. It's obviously my career, my job, my passion, my purpose. And that is something I greatly, greatly subscribe to, is move your body, emphasis on protein, limit those calories, processed foods, fake foods, basically. Get that sunshine, and then hydrate your body. Drink water. Picture your body like a sponge, guys. If you just leave it out in the sun, it's slowly losing water, and it's your responsibility to just add water back as time goes. And if you go a long time without it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then, you can go to the hospital for being dehydrated. Obviously, we know that. Bad things can happen. Don't let that sponge get too dry. Constantly reapply from time to time. Just keep the sponge the way it should be, holding that water. And then don't live with the regret of, I should have never stopped working out. I should have never given up on my nutrition. If you do feel that way, guess what? You can fix that right now. You can fix it right now. You can go back and make that block. You can go back and catch that pop fly. You can do it. I know we all have those little things. Do a little, exercise right now in your mind and think about one funny thing. I wish I never would have asked that person to prom. I wish I would have, never dated that person. We all have one of those, 2 of those, or 5 of those. We all have these little regrets and thoughts. So think about it. Think about what you would do to be able to go change that little thing, and put it in the perspective of fitness and go, all right, if I really say I'd go back and make this change, right now I can do it. I can kind of pay the piper. I can prove to myself I can make this change. I can get stronger this year. I can get fitter this year. I can get healthier this year. And do it. Let's do it. That's it. I think this was the personal record for the amount of times I said and the amount of times I've said and so I apologize for that. But if you enjoyed, once again, please like this video, subscribe, give us a review on all the podcasts. If you just listen to it, you can 5-star us, thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on what you're listening on. We really appreciate it and want to keep making these, and we will, as long as there is, that place for it, as long as people want it. So that's all, guys. I love you, and I will see you, of course, in a couple weeks from now. Oh, I got my wife, Chandis, joining me in a podcast in the coming months. So those are always fun. We got an awesome topic to talk about, and it'll be fun to have someone else in here. Since we've had video, it's just been me or Corey solo. So we are going to ramp them up again and try to make them a little more fun. So look out for that one in the future. All right, guys. Bye-bye.